As the last customer left, the manager handed you the keys to the maintenance tunnels beneath the lobby, saying the midnight shift was yours alone. Descending the rusty ladder, you entered the damp tunnels where forgotten tapes were stored, the air thick with the smell of mildew and old plastic. A handwritten note was taped to a flickering monitor. Follow these rules or you'll join the lost reels. Rule 1. Never rewind a tape labeled archive. Do not play. If you hear rewinding sounds, cover your ears and count to 30. The static will stop. You noticed a tape slowly rewinding itself on a shelf, its label peeling to reveal archive. As static filled the air, you clamped your hands over your ears, heart pounding. Rule 2. If the projector in room B turns on by itself, do not look at the screen. The flickering images will show you things that shouldn't be remembered. A beam of light suddenly shot from the projector, casting shifting shadows. You kept your gaze fixed on the floor, but peripheral glimpses hinted at twisted figures on the wall. Rule 3. Always keep the emergency exit light on. If it flickers, hum "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star" until it steadies. The darkness here listens. The light began to stutter, plunging the tunnel into near blackness. You forced out the tune, voice trembling, and the glow slowly returned, but something seemed to shift in the shadows behind you. Rule 4. Do not answer if you hear your name called from the VHS recycling bin. It is not a person, it is mimicking the tapes. A whisper echoed your name from the bin, sounding oddly familiar. You bit your lip, staying silent, and the voice dissolved into garbled audio snippets from old movies. Rule 5. If you find a tape playing your childhood home videos, smash it immediately. Those memories are traps set by the tunnels. The tape showed your old living room, but the figures on screen had blank faces. You hurled it against the wall, and it shattered with a scream. Like crackle, as the clock neared 3 a.m., the tunnels grew colder, and the rules felt heavier. You realized the exit was still hours away, and every shadow seemed to watch. A final tape rolled into view, labeled "The Last Rewind." It played your entire shift back, but in the footage, you were already one of the lost reels, staring blankly from the screen. When the morning manager arrived, the tunnels were empty, save for a new tape on the shelf. Your shift, perfectly recorded, waiting for the next closer. Rule 6. If you hear whispers from the ventilation shafts, do not respond. They mimic voices of people you know, but the tunnels twist them into lures. A voice that sounded like your sister called your name from the vent. You clamped your mouth shut, heart pounding, as the whisper grew into a guttural growl that faded into static. Rule 7. When the projector in room B turns on by itself, cover your eyes until it stops. The light shows things that shouldn't exist in this reality. You squeezed your eyes shut as the projector whirred to life. Through your eyelids, you sensed shifting shadows and heard whispers that seemed to crawl from the screen, lasting an agonizing minute before it clicked off. Rule 8. If you see your reflection in a puddle or shiny surface smiling when you are not, break the surface immediately. The tunnels are trying to replace you. In a puddle of leaked coolant, your reflection grinned widely. You stomped on it, shattering the image into ripples, and a sharp pain shot through your leg as if you'd struck something solid. The clock struck 4 a.m., and a new chill seeped into the tunnels. You felt a presence gathering in the shadows, as if the rules had only been holding it back. A tape labeled "Final Instructions" slid from a shelf. It played a distorted message. The exit is a door marked with a red X, but to reach it, you must walk backwards the entire way. You turned and began walking backwards, each step feeling unnatural. The walls seemed to pulse around you, and whispers grew louder, but you kept your eyes fixed ahead on the distant red X halfway there. Your reflection appeared in a polished pipe, mouthing words you couldn't hear. You ignored it, focusing on the red X, but your own face looked pale and hollow. As you neared the door, the whispers coalesced into a single voice, your own from the tapes. It pleaded for you to turn around, promising safety in the familiar darkness of the tunnels. You reached the door, Hand trembling on the handle, the voice screamed as you pushed it open, and blinding morning light flooded in, silencing the tunnels instantly. Stumbling into the alley, you collapsed against a dumpster, the weight of the night lifting. But as you caught your breath, you noticed a fresh tape in your pocket, unlabeled and warm to the touch. You pulled it out, and it showed a live feed of the tunnels, empty now but for a single figure, your reflection from the puddle, smiling and waving from deep within. The tape ejected itself and melted into sludge, leaving a stain on the pavement. You knew the tunnels weren't done with you. They'd left a piece behind, waiting for the next shift. You walked away, the sun rising fully, but the chill of the tunnels clung to your bones. At home, you'd check every mirror, afraid to see that smile again, knowing some rules last beyond closing time. Days later, a new employee started at the store. They found your old uniform in the back, a tape tucked in the pocket. Your shift perfectly recorded, with an extra scene of you still in the tunnels, waving. The cycle continued, the tunnels always hungry for another closer. You tried to warn them, but your words came out as static on the phone, and you knew you were becoming just another lost reel. In the end, you sat in your apartment, watching the rain. Your reflection in the window didn't smile, but sometimes, in the corner of your eye, you'd see a shadow that moved like the tunnels, reminding you that some shifts never truly end. The video store closed for good a year later, but the maintenance tunnels remained, silent and waiting. On quiet nights, locals swear they hear rewinding tapes and whispers, a last rewind for anyone who dares to listen.